18th Blue Springs City Council meeting. We're going to have an invocation from Pastor Michael Scott from the Table Blue Springs, and then Councilmember Culpepper will lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. If you'll stand with me.
Would you please pray with me? God, we thank you for this wonderful evening. We thank you for this rain. We thank you for these people who are coming together to help better our community. I pray a blessing that the conversations tonight, the decisions that were made, that they may give honor and glory to not only you, but to those in this community. God, we thank you for all those opportunities. We pray in your name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. You may be seated. Thank you, Pastor Michael and Councilmember Culpepper, for that. Next item on the agenda, I'm going to call the meeting to order, and we'll have a confirmation of a quorum.
Councilmember Kaler.
Present.
Tholen. Present. Fowler.
Present.
Erickson.
Present.
Edmondson.
Here.
Culpepper.
Present.
Mayor Levesey.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Next item is the consent agenda. Do I have a motion to, I have Councilmember Kaler has requested item D be removed. Do I have a motion for approval of the other items?
So moved.
Is there a second? Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Kaler.
Aye.
Tholen.
Aye.
Fowler.
Aye.
Erickson.
Aye.
Edmondson.
Aye.
Culpepper.
Aye.
Mayor Levesey.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Councilmember Kaler on item D.
Yes, sir. Your Honor, I just have some concerns that I didn't get some answers that I would like to answer that would make me and enable me to make a right decision on this. And I would like to continue item D to a later date, so I might be able to get those answers.
Okay, I have, I'm assuming that's a motion from
Yes, sir.
Councilmember Kaler to continue item D. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
I have a question. When would these boards and commissions, I think most of this is on economic development, they have a meeting coming up. Is that going to affect that?
Yes, the members of that commission that are approved tonight would be eligible to sit for the next economic development meeting. So they would be members of the committee at that point. Any other discussion? Okay. This would be a voice vote. All in favor of the motion to continue item D, aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Any opposed? No? Okay, let's roll call that.
Yeah.
Okay, Your Honor.
Councilmember Kaler.
Let's just make sure what we're voting on, yes or no. So will you
We are
explain that,
voting
please?
yes to continue item D and no to not continue item D. If we vote no to not continue, we would have to have another motion to approve item D. Councilmember,
I have one quick
Fowler,
statement.
yes.
I guess the reason I'm supporting this is that two of the district members from the same district are requesting this, and I want to honor that request for
Okay.
tabling.
All right, roll call.
Councilmember Tholen.
Again, what are we
We are
tabling it? Yes to table, no.
Continuing.
yes to continue, no to not continue. City Attorney has some comments.
Just when we continue, if we can do maybe a
Mhm.
date certain, if it's the next meeting, or is that the motion?
I don't have a problem with the next city council meeting. I need answers, and I haven't got any.
Yes,
So
sir.
the next city council meeting will be December 2nd. So I'm going to understand your motion to say to continue to the December 2nd council meeting.
That's correct.
Okay.
The
So
second
we are
agrees with that.
voting to roll call vote to approve continuing item D to the December 2nd council meeting, or no, will not continue it, and then we'll have to take further action on item D.
Got it.
Councilmember Tholen.
Aye.
Fowler.
Aye.
Erickson.
Yes.
Edmondson.
Aye.
Culpepper.
Aye.
Kaler.
Aye.
Mayor Levesey.
No.
Motion carries. Motion to continue carries.
Okay. Now that we have the consent agenda, the next item is a little more fun. And if the council can join me down on the floor here, and if Jim and Jackie Fairbanks can come join me up here as well. So Jim and Jackie Fairbanks have lived in Blue Springs for 51 years. They've told me they first moved here in 1973 when their kids could walk to school. They built a house on Walnut, and Zarda had a dairy. They were eating ice cream from Zarda. Who even knew that was a thing? And so they have, nobody's perfect. They have moved out of city limits to their new home. But I want to take a moment to recognize them because of all of their hard work and their dedication to Blue Springs. So I have a proclamation, and I'll add in some extra comments as we go through here. So Jim and Jackie Fairbanks have selflessly dedicated themselves to serving the city of Blue Springs, offering countless hours of volunteerism, leadership, and commitment to a wide range of civic causes for the betterment of our community. Then here's some bio information about you. Jim got a journalism degree from the University of Missouri in Columbia and worked for 35 years as a real estate broker and served in multiple capacities in the real estate industry. Jackie got a business administration degree from UMKC, worked for Hallmark Cards, and also as a real estate broker. And Jackie was involved in Independence Young Matrons and Women's Council of the Realtors. But their dedication and service to Blue Springs has been longstanding as well. Jim was on the Park Commission back in 1999, was also on a charter review committee back then, was on the Renew the Blue committee. So 25 years ago was engaged. He has served as our Board of Equalization member under 3 different mayors since I think 05 was when you were first appointed to that. And Jackie has served on the Planning Commission, served on Downtown Review Board, has been involved with the Citizens Police Academy and some of those things as well. So both of them for decades have been involved in and committed to this community. And we understand they've got to do what's good for their family and they're moving out, but I do not want them to exit Blue Springs without our gratitude and recognition. So today, therefore, the Mayor of Blue Springs and Blue Springs City Council do hereby proclaim November 18th, 2024, because of your dedication and service to the community, as Jim and Jackie Fairbanks Day. So congratulations. If you can help me, let's get a picture here. That's right. Do you have any words of wisdom or a speech prepared that you'd like to tell us? No?
It's been a pleasure to have Blue Springs as our residence for so many years.
Absolutely. Well, I was able to be your council member for many of those years as well, so thank you for letting me do that. We wish you well. Thank you so much. Give them another round. Okay, thank you for giving us the opportunity to recognize a pretty special couple back there. We'll get back on business here with item number 5, is continued from the October 21st council meeting. It's a reopening of the public hearing on the links. I think the city clerk has some items to read to the exhibit.
Mayor, the city has a second exhibit to enter into the record. Exhibit 2, City Council Information Form dated November 12, 2024 with the following attachments. Exhibit 1 is entered into the record during the public hearing on November 4th, 2024. City Council meeting, which includes City Council Information Form with attachments, staff report with attachments, application with attachments, affidavit of publication of the examiner on September 28th, 2024, 185-foot notification map, names, addresses of property owners within 185 feet of the site, copy of letters sent to said property owners, email in opposition, Title 4 Land Use Section Blue Springs Code of Ordinance by reference, 2014 Comprehensive Plan by reference, bill approving rezoning, and the Plan Development Concept Plan with alternative plan development standards attached as Exhibit A, and rezoning and Plan Development Concept Plan attached as Exhibit B. This is all we have to enter for the record.
Staff, if you'll be sworn in and give us your report.
I do. So Chantel Fry, 903 West Main Street on behalf of the city. Before you this evening, we have the rezoning, the plan development concept, and the preliminary plat, which has been submitted by Chad Reisinger of Reisinger Development. This property is generally located north of the Adams Point Golf Course, south of the R.D. Mize Road, and west of Adams Point Village subdivision. It is currently zoned agriculture, and then the proposed zoning is going to be the planned development residential ADPO. The planned development concept plan now shows 30 single-family neighborhood lots and 4 open space tracts. The property encompasses 18.47 plus or minus acres and is located west of the Adams Point Village subdivision. Though through the planned development concept plan, the applicant is requesting the alternative development standards relating to the connection of Northeast Greenview to Adams Point Village subdivision. The applicant has modified the original plan development concept plan, which was shown at the last city council meeting, and has now removed the Greenview Drive connection, which is to the east side of the property, is now track B. So as you can see, it is a reduction of 7 lots, which no longer has the requirement of the 2 access points. The links, Adams Point subdivision will include the front-loaded 3-car garage homes with a mix of ranch, reverse 1.5-story, traditional 2-story homes, and the subdivision will consist of the various elevations, color schemes, and masonry materials, which was shown at the previous city council meeting. The single-family homes will be the minimum of 2,200 square feet of livable floor area, which now tends to density to 1.95 units per acre with the removal of the 7 lots. The access to the site will be provided from the new north and south street with Northeast Scenic Valley Road that will intersect with R.D. Mize Road on the north side of the property. 5-foot sidewalks have been provided on one side of the street in the subdivision, and there is now an additional paved walking trail to the northeast side, which is into track B. That is the new walking trail being proposed along with the existing proposal of the walking trail in the track A that was there from the original plan. A traffic memo prepared by the professional engineer registered in the state of Missouri states that anticipated traffic generated by this development does not warrant a traffic impact study per the City of Blue Springs Design and Construction Manual. Preliminary stormwater management plan has been submitted that will include multiple detention basins and BMPs to control the runoff and the water quality. A final stormwater management plan will need to be prepared by a professional engineer registered in the state of Missouri and submitted to Public Works. There is sewer available on site that is south of this development, and the sewer has a capacity to convey flows generated for this development, but the developer is responsible for extending this sewer. The final landscaping, which will include the required plant units to be reviewed by the PD final plan. Each single family lot is going to require the 45 minimum plant unit plus the applicable street trees requirements prior to the issuance of a certificate of occupancy. Tract A, which is now still located to the south, is designated as the active open space detention area and is approximately 2.09 acres plus or minus. In this tract, it will include the walking trails, sidewalks, and park benches. Tract B, which is now to the east of the property, which is no longer that connection, is designated as an active open space of 2.86 plus or minus acres, which will be maintained and preserved as a natural habitat. Tract C, which is located to the north of the property, will act as the buffer and detention area of the R.D. Mize. And then Tract D is a dedicated land tract. At this time, there is no use designated to it. I will leave that up to the developer if that is a question. The applicant will be proposing the 15-foot landscape easement along the south of the property line, which abuts the Adams Point Golf Course. The developer will be placing 2 evergreen trees per lot along the golf course with the required 45 plant units. The buffers are required along R.D. Mize Road frontage, and the south buffer to the golf course, as outlined in the staff report, will be the frontage and landscaping section. Staff recommends approval of the rezoning application. Staff recommends approval of the plan development concept plan, which is the alternative here tonight, with 7 conditions, and staff recommends approval of the preliminary plat. I'm happy to answer any questions.
So any questions for staff from the council? Councilmember Erickson.
Thank you. You mentioned sidewalk, paved walking trail, and walking trail. Are they of different consistencies? Obviously paved means it's paved. Sidewalk, we assume, is concrete.
Yes, sidewalk will be the concrete. The walking trail is, I believe, just a paved asphalt.
So the second, when you said walking trail going around to the south and to the west, I think, that will be a paved?
That will be a paved asphalt.
Okay, I guess that's my real question. Thank you. Much appreciated.
Any other questions from the council? Okay. Is the applicant present? Want to come answer questions, give a presentation? Come on up, be sworn in, and give us your name and address for the record.
Yes. Chad Reisinger, 114 Southwest Eagles Parkway, Grand Valley, Missouri, 64029. Just got a brief presentation to go over born and raised here in Blue Springs and built and developed in Blue Springs, Grand Valley, and all over Kansas City, really, and own a self-storage facility in Grand Valley. We covered the location there. We've got, I believe, a highly desirable subdivision that we're proposing here with a unique characteristic of being kind of tucked away in that envelope there with the golf course on 3 sides and the wooded area, and also with easy access to the Adams Dairy Landing. So we've kind of covered the exclusive entrance there that we created, and bringing in a lot more open space to the project, and the addition of the walking trail on that proposed tract B as well, just adding to that already walking trail that we had proposed before, the 2,200 minimum square footage, and the pricing consistent with the adjacent subdivision. The landscaping plan, large open space concept, the tree buffer along R.D. Mize Road, and we touched a little bit on the the landscape easement along the buffer, or between the golf course and the development. So what that will do is we're going to actually add in 2 trees per lot there to create more of a landscape buffer instead of maybe 1 per every 40 feet. It is on the comprehensive plan for a multifamily, small scale multifamily development. After speaking with the adjacent subdivision, that was even more unpopular than the RV park. So, so we decided, not go that route and really create a really nice, larger lot size subdivision there, single family. Amenities would be the walking trails, bench seating, green spaces, and of course the golf course views. HOA provided trash removal, so it's all on the same day, and maintenance on landscaped areas, and we'll be recruiting high quality builders from the area, and of course the no monotony rules. Everything will be similar in architecture to the subdivision adjacent to it. Will require 3-car garages, architectural front elevations, and keeping in mind the elevations along the backside of the property, homes that are adjacent to the golf course there, and quality interior finishes. And so in general, the general consensus from meeting with the homeowners adjacent to the property is that they feel like the single family residential plan would suit their needs and be compatible with them, and also as far as deleting the road between the two, they felt like would be a more desirable for them, and we agreed. So we just came back to present the new alternative plan, and I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for the applicant from the council?
I don't have a
Councilmember Colquitt.
question, I just want to make a statement. I appreciate the fact that you've worked so hard with the neighbors out there. I think you've got a beautiful development here, and I know that was hard for you on that adjoining road, et cetera. So I appreciate that.
Appreciate that. Thanks. You're welcome.
Councilmember Kaler.
I too appreciate, because I know how much hard work it entailed getting to this point. And I appreciate the division between the two, not being adjoining. I know it was an asset for you not to have to do that because of the terrain, and I get where that was coming from. But I just want to thank you for what you've done with this development, and I agree with Councilmember Culpepper, tremendous. It's very tremendous project, and I will support this.
Appreciate it. My pleasure.
Any other discussion? Okay,
All right,
thank you for your testimony. Any other questions before we go to the public? Okay. Is there anybody in the audience would like to speak in support of, in opposition to? Any other comments from the council before I close the public hearing? We'll close the public hearing. Next item is introduction and reading of the Links rezoning and plan development.
I will introduce that, Your Honor.
First reading of Bill 5271, an ordinance rezoning property from AGC Agricultural County to PDR ADPO Plan Development Residential Adams Dairy Parkway Overlay and approving a plan development concept plan for the Links at Adams Point.
Your Honor, move the bill be approved on its first reading and proceed with the second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, no? Second reading.
Second reading of Bill 5271, an ordinance rezoning property from AGC Agricultural County to PDR ADPO Plan Development Residential Adams Dairy Parkway Overlay and approving a plan development concept plan for the Links at Adams Point.
Your Honor, move to approve the second reading and provide the proper ordinance number.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Fowler,
Aye.
Erickson,
Aye.
Edmondson,
Aye.
Culpepper,
Aye.
Kaler,
Absolutely, aye.
Tholen,
Aye.
Mayor Levesey.
Aye.
Carried unanimously and given ordinance number 5378.
Next item is the public hearing for the Home Depot conditional use permit. The city clerk will read some items to the exhibit.
Mayor, the city has one exhibit to enter into the record. Exhibit 1, City Council Information Form dated November 13th, 2024 with the following attachments. Staff report with attachments, application with attachments, affidavit of publication of the examiner on September 28th, 2024, 185-foot notification map, names, addresses of property owners within 185 feet of the site, copy of letter sent to said property owners, Title 4 Land Use Section Blue Springs Code of Ordinances by reference, 2014 Comprehensive Plan by reference, and bill approving the conditional use permit. This is all we have to enter for the record.
Staff will be sworn in and give us your report.
I do. Dave McCumber, 903 West Main Street. Good evening, Mr. Mayor and fellow council members. Before you is an application for a conditional use permit submitted by Kimley Horn on behalf of the applicant, the Home Depot. The store is located at 905 Northeast Adams Dairy Parkway and consists of approximately 11 acres in size. Currently, the property is zoned general business, Adams Dairy Parkway overlay. The applicant is requesting approval of a conditional use permit for the freestanding outdoor retail sales service land use on the Home Depot's property. The Home Depot operates outdoor retail sales in the form of a garden center, displays, tough sheds, and equipment rentals. It also consists of lifts and trailers, things of that nature. Across their property and across many of their properties across the country. The Balloon Springs location has previously never received proper approvals from the city, and the applicant is here to do so by providing the necessary documentation for what the company would like to do. So this particular project really only has a few different items here that we're addressing this evening to go along with this conditional use permit. First of which is being the parking on the site. It's a little bit ambiguous and has changed over time as it was originally developed. The pad site out in front 5 or 6 years ago was developed for the Neater store and then has since changed. There was a parking agreement that kind of shared some parking between that side and then this side. So we kind of went through the plan that they had submitted, reviewed it, and have addressed it. So the UDC does require that a mix of land uses on the property, or this mix of land uses on the property including both of the indoor and outdoor uses, require approximately 416 parking spaces for the site. Given that there are many uses across the property, staff require the applicant to provide a Schedule C parking study, which was submitted by a traffic engineer, that indicated the existing supply and demand for the parking at the Home Depot Blue Springs location was sufficient. The study found that when accounting for the mix of land uses on the property, the site provides today 343 parking spaces. Furthermore, the study indicated that at peak demand, 331 spaces are necessary. It is important to note that most, if not all, the land uses presented as part of this case have existed on the property throughout the years. Many of the uses occupy parking spaces on the site, which were also accounted for in the site plan and parking study. The other item that we took a look at was the screening on the site. Section 404-200, which is the Adams Dairy Parkway overlay section of the Unified Development Code, requires that frontages along the parkway screen off-street parking and service loading areas. Upon inspecting the site, it was discovered that a gap in the landscaping near the intersection of Northeast Coronado and Northeast Adams Dairy Parkway exists and allows an unobstructed view of the parking lot and equipment rental area on the property. It can be seen by the image that was provided in the staff report, and then an aerial map kind of showing that location on the site there. Let's see. Staff has asked the applicant to provide a plan to address the screening deficiency, which they have in the form of a landscape plan. The landscape plan details the plant material and location that they intend to install to bring the area of the site into conformance with the UDC. Staff's reviewed the proposed landscape plan and believes the criteria. Staff has reviewed the landscape plan and believes that's sufficient to meet the intent of the code. Staff has also reviewed the criteria of the conditional use permit and believes the application meets the intent of the UDC. On November 12th, 2024, the Planning Commission held a hearing where they heard the case and recommended approval of the conditional use permit with conditions. The Planning Commission also they did approve the site plan design review portion of the project with conditions. At that meeting, there were no members of the public who spoke in favor or against the project. And with that, staff is recommending approval of the conditional use permit application with the 2 conditions listed in the staff report. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for staff from the council?
I have a
Councilmember Culpepper.
question, and I should know the answer, but I'm sorry I do not. When, during the spring and early summer, and they bring all those lovely plants out and put them out in the parking lot, do they have to get a conditional use for that period of time?
So this is encompassing that use as well.
Okay.
So I think that this originally came to us from someone at the store contacting us about setting up that garden center out front there.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's kind of how we got to tonight. And so they actually have hired the applicant, Kimberly Horn, to take care of this across all of their stores across the country, where some of these land uses have kind of pop up as their typical business model has changed over time. And so they're kind of helping get some applications through the process and getting proper approvals and things of that nature, and what's happening with the Blue Springs location as well.
Okay, so this is going to be all encompassing, and we don't have to worry about that going forward. That's taken care of, because I love it when they have those out there.
Yeah. So that's what this conditional use permit is for and what it entails. And then one of the condition, I'm not thinking of it exactly, but it does include language that states that if any future expansion of these uses on the site were to be brought back up or potentially expanded upon Prior to that happening, they'd have to get a revised conditional use permit and/or a revised parking study just to show that the needs and demands of the site are still being met or can be met with a new configuration.
Okay, yeah, it just makes it so much easier for customers to get in and out and get their selections made. So, thank you.
Any other questions for staff from the council? Okay. Is there an applicant present that would be available for questions? If you want to come up, be sworn in, give us your name and address for the record.
Andrew Gribble, Kimley Horn, 805 Pennsylvania, Kansas City, Missouri, 64105. Oh,
Yeah, you'll have to be.
sorry. I do.
Give us that again.
All right. Andrew Gribble, Kimley Horn, 805 Pennsylvania, Kansas City, Missouri, 64105. And
Do you have any further comments besides staff, or just want to be available for questions?
just available for questions.
Any questions for the applicant from the council? All right, that was easy. Good job.
Thank you.
All right, any other comments from the council before I go to the public? Anyone in the public like to speak in support of, in opposition to? Any other comments before I close the public hearing? We'll close the public hearing. Next item is introduction and reading of the CUP for Home Depot.
I will introduce that, Your Honor.
First reading of Bill 5273, an ordinance approving a conditional use permit to allow the outdoor retail sales service and freestanding retail sales service land uses in the GB ADPO, General Business Adams Dairy Parkway Overlay Zoning District located at 905 Northeast Adams Dairy Parkway in Blue Springs, Jackson County, Missouri for the Home Depot.
Your Honor, move the bill be approved in its first reading and proceed with the second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, no? Second reading.
Second reading of Bill 5273, an ordinance approving a conditional use permit to allow the outdoor retail sales service and freestanding retail sales service land uses in the GB ADPO, General Business Adams Dairy Parkway Overlay Zoning District, located at 905 Northeast Adams Dairy Parkway in Blue Springs, Jackson County, Missouri, for the Home Depot.
Your Honor, move to approve the second reading and provide the proper ordinance number.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Erickson.
Aye.
Edmondson.
Aye.
Culpepper.
Aye.
Kaler.
Aye.
Tholen.
Aye.
Fowler.
Aye.
Mayor Levisay.
Aye.
Carried unanimously and given ordinance number 5379.
Next item is a public hearing on rezoning for 209 Northwest 11th Street.
Mayor, the city has an exhibit to enter into the record. Exhibit 1, City Council Information Form dated November 13th, 2024 with the following attachments. Staff report with attachments, application with attachments, affidavit of publication in the Examiner on October 26, 2024, names, addresses of property owners within 185 feet of the site, copy of letter sent to said property owners, Title 4 Land Use Section, Blue Springs Code of Ordinances by reference, 2014 Comprehensive Plan by reference, and bill approving the rezoning. This is all we have to enter for the record.
Staff, if you'll be sworn in and give us your report.
I do. All right. Christopher Willis, 903 West Main, on behalf of the city. Before you this evening is a request to rezone 0.13 acres of property at 209 Northwest 11th Street. It will be rezoned from light industrial to general business, and since the property is already developed, request for a general development plan is not included. And then the request is again for a rezoning of property from LI to GB. According to the 2014 Comprehensive Plan, the future land use policy map designates the subject property as a distinct destination. Distinct destination is summarized as a mix of larger scale and regionally significant land uses that are different from other places in Blue Springs and the region. The subject property is within the downtown master plan core area. And the goal of the downtown master plan is to ensure that downtown is supported and connected. The downtown master plan classified the subject property as being in the core area, which is described in the master plan as the core area of Main Street is the image center of downtown. The area boasts signature businesses that are key to building momentum for downtowns, such as restaurants, bars, retail stores, coffee shops, and a brewery. While these amenities exist, the district is still working towards enhancing activities for customers to demonstrate downtown as a unified district. The proposed zoning for the property helps contribute towards the goals of a downtown master plan. The applicant has stated in their narrative that the intention would be to attract new businesses to downtown and also nearby properties. including but not limited to restaurants, breweries, and other retail shops that more closely align with the downtown master plan. Staff reviewed the rezoning request under the review criteria and finds that the rezoning request meets the policies, goals, and objectives of the 2014 comprehensive plan. Staff recommends approval of this rezoning application. I'd be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Any questions for staff from the council? Okay, see applicant present, like to come answer questions? Be sworn in, give us your name and address for the record.
I do. Jamie Russell, 2006 Southwest Sandstone Court, Blue Springs, Missouri, 64014. I have nothing to add to the presentation, but I'm available for questions if anyone has them.
Any questions for the applicant? Man, we're on a roll tonight. Good job, Jamie. Appreciate it. Okay. Any other comments from the council before I go to the public? Is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak in support of, in opposition to? Any other comments before I close the public hearing? We'll close the public hearing. Next item is introduction and reading the rezoning of 209 Northwest 11th Street.
I will introduce that, Your Honor.
First reading of Bill 5274, an ordinance rezoning property address 209 Northwest 11th Street, consisting of 0.13 plus or minus acres of land from LI Light Industrial to GB General Business.
Your Honor, move the bill be approved on its first reading and proceed with the second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, no? Second reading.
Second reading Bill 5274, an ordinance rezoning property address 209 Northwest 11th Street, consisting of 0.13 plus or minus acres of land from LI Light Industrial to GB General Business.
Your Honor, I move to approve the second reading and provide the proper ordinance number.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Edmondson.
Aye.
Culpepper.
Aye.
Kaler.
Aye.
Folin.
Aye.
Fowler.
Aye.
Erickson.
Aye.
Mayor Levisay.
Aye.
Carried unanimously and given ordinance number 5380.
Item 11, which is a conditional use permit, was withdrawn by the applicant, so we don't have any direction or action need to be taken on that. Item 12, introduction and reading of a facility use agreement with MCC.
I will introduce that, Your Honor.
First reading of Bill 5275, an ordinance approving a facility use agreement between the City of Blue Springs and the Junior College District of Metropolitan Kansas City, Missouri.
Your Honor, move the bill be approved on its first reading and proceed with the second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Roll call, or no? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, no? Second reading.
Second reading Bill 5275, an ordinance approving a facility use agreement between the City of Blue Springs and the Junior College District of Metropolitan Kansas City, Missouri.
Your Honor, approve the second reading and provide the proper ordinance number.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Culpepper.
Aye.
Kaler.
Aye.
Folin.
Aye.
Fowler.
Aye.
Erickson.
Aye.
Edmondson.
Aye.
Mayor Levisay.
Aye.
Carried unanimously and given ordinance number 5381.
Next item is introduction and reading of a memorandum of understanding with the City of Oak Grove.
I will introduce that, Your Honor.
First reading Bill 5276, an ordinance approving a memorandum of understanding between the City of Blue Springs and the City of Oak Grove for the shared use of the Central Square Management System and Computer-Aided Dispatch Suite.
Your Honor, move the bill be approved on its first reading and proceed with the second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, aye?
Aye.
Any opposed, no? Second reading.
Second reading Bill 5276, an ordinance approving a memorandum of understanding between the City of Blue Springs and the City of Oak Grove for the shared use of the Central Square Management System and Computer-Aided Dispatch Suite.
Your Honor, move to approve the second reading and provide the proper ordinance number.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? Roll call.
Councilmember Kaler.
Aye.
Folin.
Aye.
Fowler.
Aye.
Erickson.
Aye.
Edmondson.
Aye.
Culpepper.
Aye.
Mayor Levisay.
Aye.
Carried unanimously and given ordinance number 5382.
Next item is item 14, introduction and reading of a code of ordinance change related to backyard hens.
I will introduce it, Your Honor.
First reading Bill 5277, an ordinance amending Chapter 215 Dogs, Cats, Animals, and Dangerous Animals of the Code of Ordinances, City of Blue Springs, Missouri, adding Section 215.127, Regulation of Backyard Hens.
Your Honor, move the bill be approved on its first reading and proceed with the second.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, before we get to discussion, a couple of things on this item. For the council, in order to avoid any arguing or cross-talking, we're gonna tighten it up, so wait to be recognized. I'm sure there's lots of opinions up here. Everybody will get their chance to have their say. We'll make sure you have proper opportunity to respond, and we'll make sure that everybody's opinion is expressed. Similarly, if any of you in the audience take the opportunity to come and speak afterward, it's not helpful to criticize the council members. I will say every member of the city council up here today will vote because they think it is the best interest of the city of Blue Springs. So you can disagree, and I'm sure there will be lots of opinions, and you can spend your entire time telling us all the reasons why you disagree. But if you start to criticize the council members, I will stop you and redirect you back to the main point. So there's lots of opinions. Let's let this be civil discussion. I will start, since this item is on the agenda because I initiated it, just to explain the timing and some of the other questions that I've received over the weekend. So since the last 6 months, since the election, I've received multiple comments, multiple messages, mostly by supporters, asking when we would address this issue again, including, and I see Mr. Gannett in the audience, 2 articles written by the paper as to when this item would be addressed again. So it's continued to have a lot of interest. Told the paper the same thing I told the residents and any council member that asked. The initial process was to replace the vacancy that was created on the council. We had to do that before we're going to address this issue and allow that person to get settled in. In addition, the council thought it was important to address one of the main issues that we hear from residents all the time, and that was the bond issue, addressing street and maintenance and infrastructure. While we were in the process of doing that, we also found out that there was a change in the state law, that even the state legislators that voted on it were unclear how it would impact the community and impact this issue. That went into effect at the end of August. I asked the city attorney then, and then we hired a new city attorney a couple weeks later in mid-September to give us some direction as far as what they felt as they understood the state law to affect this issue. She gave us some direction last month, and knowing that information, I thought it was appropriate we can again address this issue. So for everyone's information, as the council members know, both the previous city attorney and the current city attorney have told us there is no legal way, despite however much I encourage them to be creative, to restore any sort of protection for HOAs given the new state law. So this situation, this issue is reflective of that. Whatever happens tonight, there is nothing that we can do to restore that issue. I pushed them really hard, believe me, to try to get them to come up with something, and there's no legal way for that to happen. So then the next question is, why this ordinance? So we have considered, this council has considered, 2 different versions of an ordinance related to backyard hens. One was in response to the initiative petition done by a citizens group. There was some concern that it was too lenient, that it didn't allow for the protections for the residents that may not want this issue to be passed. The next one was proposed by staff in response to some council feedback that I felt was very restrictive, and despite 7 amendments that night, did not pass. So the ordinance we're considering tonight is a exact copy of the ordinance in Lee Summit, which I feel is a comparable community and has similar HOAs, similar residents, similar approaches to what's going on in our region. The only addition to it is that it also allows ducks. So with that, who would like to be the first person, or is there anyone from the council that has any comments on this item? Councilmember Fowler.
Thank you, Your Honor. Yes, the good summary. I certainly agree that we did hear one that I felt was too lenient. Heard one that I thought, in my opinion, was too restrictive. And to me, the Lee Summit ordinance was a good middle ground. And I have even said that I would support an ordinance like that. And because there is a wealth of people out there that do support pasteurizing up to 6 chickens in their backyards. And I understand it's some people may say well, you can buy eggs cheaper. Well, it's not really about that. It's about having the chickens being able to eat naturally in the backyard without all the antibiotics that you may see in our food industry today. They believe they're healthier, and I have to respect that. I also respect that we live in an area where zoning does take precedence, both agricultural and residential zoning. There are some cities around us that's moved to allowing this within residential as long as it's not too intense. If it was 30 chickens in a backyard, I think we'd have health issues. Is 6 reasonable? Other cities have found it to be. It doesn't mean all of them have, but I acknowledge that there's growing movement, and that's where I said I would have supported this. However, the state has changed the game a little bit. Let me explain that. I guess local control. If we've got two neighbors right next to each other, ideally they can work out a compromise. You know, if somebody doesn't like what's going on in your backyard or their own backyard, they ought to be able to have a discussion with their neighbors. Hopefully it would end positively and everybody would have a compromise and we move forward. And that, in the spirit of local control, I like what HOAs do. And we've seen a time when Blue Springs, when we did not have HOAs, I look at subdivisions that have them now, and I've watched them mature over the years. Stone Creek, Somerset Estates, Park Avenue, going through there's a lot of homes in that area, and I would argue that areas that have active home associations in general hold up their property values versus those that don't have active. When I bought my house in the 1980s, there was restrictive deeds and covenants on that. That was an agreement that I agreed to honor. However, I don't live in an area with active home association. If it was formed, then if there was something there I didn't like, I'd have the opportunity to go to that HOA and argue against it, see if I can get some neighbors to agree with me and ultimately get that changed. That's the process of local control. I certainly support that, and I think it is good for our community to have local control. They can regulate, HOAs can regulate things that the city just can't. And nobody has to buy in a subdivision that has an HOA and restrictive deeds and covenants, but they do that, and to me, they're buying into an agreement. They're agreeing basically a contract like you would for a lease, but they're saying, hey, I agree to honor these restrictive deeds and covenants, nobody requiring that. And I don't know that I feel comfortable that the state should just be able to come in and take that away from our HOAs. I do believe it's more of a contract, and people honor their contracts. They don't just say, you know, I'm going to make all these contracts ineffective like the state legislature did. And I don't want to impose those consequences on HOAs today. I think that before, with the residents that live in non-HOAs, we certainly heard a big demand for this. And honestly, if it does fail tonight, I don't think this issue is going away for Blue Springs. You know, and maybe it shows up on a ballot someday. I would hope a balanced ordinance like this is one that we would hear. At the moment, I'm not going to be able to support this because of the consequences it imposes on HOAs and all the people that bought their homes, trusting that those deeds, restrictions, and covenants could be enforced.
Okay. Any other comments from council members?
All right.
Councilmember Culpepper?
I wholeheartedly agree with Councilmember Fowler. This has been a very, very difficult, it's been a hard week. I need to disconnect all my text messaging and my emails for a few days. It's been hard because I know that people want to have chickens, but it's also hard because I know the HOAs have a contract. And my hope is that as we go forward, I would like to see this come back, but I would like to see it come back where there is HOA protections. Some cities have chicken ordinances, they have HOAs, but they had the ordinance before the state stepped in. Once the state stepped in, it changed the entire game, and it makes it really, really hard to find that compromise. And that's what I'm looking for, and I'm hoping we will find that. You all know that I supported the last chicken ordinance. I keep calling chicken ordinance for lack of a better term. But I also have to respect the rights of others. And so I would hope that should this fail, that we will hear it again. The lawsuit has been filed. There's, to my knowledge, they called this thing Ruffled Feathers in Missouri, if anybody wants to read about it. But I think that this hopefully will take care of some of the issues we're facing right now. So.
Councilmember Fowler, do you have something else?
Just a quick comment on that lawsuit. I think one of the heart of it is that, hey, that their attorney that's arguing against what the state did, they're saying, hey, our residents did buy their houses with these types of convictions, deeds and restrictions in effect, and they believe it to be a contract between them and the association. People can always negotiate different things within it, but they don't believe that the state legislature has the right to take out of effect, current contracts. Now, new people that buy, okay, you can subject them to those requirements as the state legislature suggests, but active contracts is something that I think that we do have to respect, and I'm optimistic that that lawsuit will maybe change this.
Councilmember Erickson.
I won't support this for many, many reasons, professional, ethical, my feelings, and whatever it is, but there are a couple little tiny points in here that I think are, at least to me, are worth mentioning. The Senate bill is at 985, is that right? Says that that a city cannot restrict chickens. It does not, however, say, that an HOA cannot restrict chickens. However, it does not specify ducks. So if the language were in here to HOAs could protect ducks, it would be a little more palatable for me. However, I would still vote against it. And the other thing that is just another small point, and that's just me, ducks are listed as ducks. There's no species, there's no genus, there's no taxonomy associated with ducks. And that may be a minor point, but we've all talked about domestic ducks, et cetera, and there are other ducks in the world. But I won't support it in light of that, but if it does come back, I think those two things should be generated.
Okay. Any other comments from the council? Councilmember Edmondson? Oh,
go ahead.
Sorry.
I voted in favor of going forward with this. They stress HOAs, and I find that my experience has been over the years that an HOA is only as good as they can afford a lawyer. If they don't have enough money to afford a lawyer, their HOA rules are pretty much non-existent. There's other things in those HOAs that they need to work on. People that carry on an auto repair business in their drive, people that don't cut their grass to the right height, fencing, limbs come over in their yard, take care of that. There's other issues I think that are more important than maybe some chickens or ducks in the backyard. To me, that seems really minor. It's been expressed that maybe we continue this down the road. I hate to see that we would have to force that organization to go back to the ballot and try to get this voted in a ballot. I feel that they probably would be more efficient at what they do if they do that, and probably would garner more support than they did before. But why put them through all that to get something passed that to me is not as big issue as keeping your yards clean, cutting down on the trash and the rodents, mowing, the condition of your house, that type of thing. To me, those are more important in the appearance of our community here in Blue Springs than chickens in the backyard. It's regulated, they're in housing, there's ways to enforce some of that stuff. I don't find an issue with it.
Councilmember Kaler, did you have some comments?
Yes, sir. I will have to disagree with my colleague over there.
Thank you.
Because I've been in an HOA for a number of years, and HOAs do have the authority to do what was a binding legal document with the county and with the state. Each time there's election, we're on the officers of HOAs, they're supposed to be notifying the city even on the new officers that are in the HOA. So I see where you're coming from with the grass and everything, but that's already city controlled and should be controlled with the garages in it. But the bottom line of it is, this is a legal documented group. Whether anybody likes it or not, or don't like an HOA, it's a legal documented group. And there are bylaws and covenants that were in place when people moved into those residents, and by buying in a resident that has an HOA, you are agreeing to abide by the covenants in HOAs. So therefore, with the state regulating the way they did, because I know for a fact there was representatives that voted on something that they had no clue what they were voting on. But I cannot support this.
Any additional comments from the Councilmember Fowler?
Yes, Your Honor. I guess I somewhat want to talk to the point that, yeah, the Homes Association, if they have one person that goes against the rules, it does seem like it comes down to how much of an attorney they can hire and how much money they have. And a lot of times things get blown up because of that, and there's no active home association. However, what I want to point about home association is the spirit of neighbors working together. Okay, I think that's the biggest part of a home association. They agree to work together so that they work in agreement with each other. So I do love the spirit of an HOA, and honestly, again, I think that they do help property values throughout the city if they're healthy and all the neighbors are working together. All that said, if maybe this should go up on the ballot one day, because it's got homes associations are now right in the middle of it. They deserve the opportunity to have a say at the table as well. I certainly respect those that want chickens. Hey, my son wanted them, and his daughter-in-law, they actually moved outside the city limits and now have chickens. So I certainly respect those that want them. It's been a challenging issue for our community. Again, at the moment, because of the consequences on HOAs, I will not be supporting.
Okay, Councilmember
I just
Culpepper.
want to add one more thing. When we have a new subdivision come in, and I don't care if it's mansions or townhouses, it doesn't matter. When we have a new subdivision come in, we require HOAs. And we do that because the HOAs do help maintain the properties. I know in my HOA, I live where there's an HOA. I mean, only certain kind of roof, certain kind of fences. But we elected to move there because of those things. I don't have to live there. If I wanted chickens, I would live somewhere else. But I think it's important to understand that's one of the reasons we require HOAs, to help maintain those subdivisions.
Okay. I have a motion and a second. Let's go ahead and roll call the first reading.
Councilmember Tholen,
Aye.
Fowler,
No.
Erickson,
No.
Edmondson,
Aye.
Culpepper,
No.
Kaler,
No.
Mayor Levasseur.
Aye. Motion fails on first reading. Next item is the visitors. I do have 3 visitor appearance forms, 2 on the chicken issue. First, I have Adrian Handy in support of. If you've got 3 minutes to come talk about this issue. She's left, okay, that was easy. Erica Knight, I have you up as next. Would you like to come tell us what you think? You come on up to the microphone, you've got 3 minutes.
All right, this has been a hot topic with many in favor and many opposed to the hens ordinance. Our community, our city, our council, everyone has strong feelings about this ordinance. When I emailed my support, I was met with a new challenge, which was Councilmember Fowler and Culpepper said the homeowners associations are now being impacted and they don't like it. So I communicated with them on their concerns, and myself and a couple other citizens began looking into Blue Springs HOAs. We found, per the city website, there are approximately 21,735 occupied housing units. Of those units, 5,853 are HOAs, which is approximately 26.9% of housing. There are 57 HOAs. 9 of them don't qualify based on the state minimum for acreage. 10 of them are voluntary. Not all homes participate. Almost half of the HOAs in our city wouldn't qualify to have hens based on their lot perimeters. So of the units left in HOAs that are active, only 2,754 are large enough lots to meet the minimum. That's approximately 13% of the housing population in HOAs that may qualify to have hens if an ordinance is passed. So we were told multiple times by Ron and Susan that HOAs represent the majority of Blue Springs. Our research does not show that. It's been made clear by this council that 26.1% of HOA population holds more importance than the other 73.1% of the citizens in Blue Springs. We reached out to every HOA we could. We had Friday, Saturday, and yesterday to do so. We found there's not a unilateral hatred of chickens or ducks. Some are split decisions, some are in full support. We do have support from Brookshire, East Ridge Meadows, Hickory Woods, Kimston Place, Northridge Villas, Quail Walk, and Winport. There are other HOAs that I could mention that have an indifference. No matter there. I want to note that Somerset, one that Councilmember Fowler mentioned, they have a voluntary HOA, which is 157 homes. That's 0.7% of housing, and 0.6% of that is actually eligible. Stone Creek, a big one that was mentioned, 461 homes. That's 2% of the occupied housing in Blue Springs, and 1.9% of those are eligible for hens in their backyard. There's a few others. Deer Run was mentioned, 91 homes. That's 0.4%. So of the total occupied housing, HOAs are not representing your residents. So while they are impacted, the people that are impacted greater are the residents not in HOAs.
Thank you for your comments.
Your Honor,
Councilmember Culpepper, in an effort to have some comments, you have
I
some
just want to
comments in
make
response.
something
Yeah.
very clear. I never, ever said that the HOA represented the largest group of citizens. I've never said that.
I believe the word you used was majority in an
I
email.
never said they are the majority. I know better than that.
Thank you
I
for your
don't want to
comments.
be
Steve.
misrepresented.
Thank you, Councilmember Culpepper. The only other speaker appearance form I have is from Michelle Floyd, talking about animal shelters. Is she still here? All right, that is all I have for visitors. We'll now go to council comments. Are there any comments from the council? Anything coming up or events that you attended? Councilmember Fowler.
Yeah, I saw that this Thursday, the chamber and the school district get together to give a state of the school district. I thought that would be interesting. I plan to go to that and look forward to it.
That's right, that's Thursday for the chamber lunch, State of the School District from Dr. Jerome, always interesting. Any other comments from council members? Well, since I will take my first comments to congratulate Councilmember Fowler. He unfortunately, is leaving us here in a couple of months, so I say unfortunate because of the loss we will have, but still congratulations on winning your election. I also want to thank Mr. Rowan for participating in the election as well, but we have loved having you around. We will find lots of ways to congratulate and thank you for all of your service over the next couple of months, but still want to recognize as the first council meeting since then, so congratulations.
Thank you, Your Honor, and thanks to the citizens, and it's, I will have a little bit more time here on the council. I don't get sworn in until January the 8th, but, yeah, I know that I'm leaving the city in good hands. You've got a very experienced group of elected officials here, and I know that the city will go on awesome.
We will keep you around as long as you'll let us have you. So
We
that's
have
great.
his phone number.
That's right.
Yeah,
You're not going anywhere.
I'm not leaving
Just
public service, so I
serving in a
will
different
have to,
capacity.
have to work in, for the city as well, so. Yep.
That's right. You will not get rid of us that easily. So. Also know that this is it Friday is the Thanksgiving lunch at Vesper Hall, and that also next week before our next council meeting will be Thanksgiving. So, as always, thankful for all of you. We're thankful for our community and the service you let us serve you on this board and on the city council. So, wish everybody a happy holidays. Enjoy some time with family. With that, I will accept a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Second.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, no. We are adjourned.